Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here for some Turok, the Dinosaur Hunter. And I want to thank everyone for all the positive messages, and I'm already getting some positive chat messages already. And so, yeah, we're here to play some Turok. Whenever bad stuff happens, I always like to get to work and do stuff to get my mind off of whatever bad thing it is. So yeah, what we're looking at here is Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. This is specifically the Night Dive remaster from, I think, 2016, I think. I didn't really care much about it when it came out, because I was like, I could just play the N64 game. Why would I want to have one with, you know, higher res graphics and modern controls? Why would I want to have that? But yeah, I mean, this is really cool that we have a remaster of this, because really, playing the original N64 version, you know, it's a little rough. Just a little, especially when it comes to the controls. Before those negative events of a couple weeks ago when my grandfather passed, I'd planned to do this, do a re-review of Turok the Dinosaur Hunter sometime in February. That's gonna have to be pushed off to like March, or maybe a bit further, but I'd actually been recording all the gameplay footage. This is not that long of a game if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you could be taking a bit of time, that's for sure. And thank you to all those who are happy that I'm back. I appreciate all the positive messages. So, in the original review from way back in 2009, I think it was, I said this was like the White House or something. I made a reference to Planet of the Apes. I mean, it kind of looks like that. Kind of looks like the facade. I mean, that was me being very imaginative back in those days. So yeah, Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. This was the first N64 game I ever played, but it was not the first one I ever owned. The first one I ever owned was Turok 2, which I got in 1998. I always loved how, like, you can shoot random deer for health. Shoot the deer! Kill the deer! Drain its blood! And it's an actual deer. You got, like, dinosaurs and, like, Cybermen and stuff like that, and then just a random deer. Now, you could kill that guy with a knife, but we're just gonna shoot him with the Beretta 92. If you look at the sights on the Beretta here, they look like suppressor height sights, but I don't think those existed back in 1996. Oh yeah, it's January 6th, oh my god! That was a day where, redacted. So this is an area that I think was added, by Night Dive. I certainly don't remember this giant area being here in the original N64 version, but it's been a long time since I played that version. I gotta admit, this is just so much easier to play. And yeah, I heard about that. There's an earthquake in Japan and all kinds of crazy crap. It's like, what a way to start a year, right? Especially after the difficulties of 2023. I gotta say, at least, despite all the bad stuff going on, at least I haven't had to deal with a goddamn earthquake. Yeah, I figured this would be a remastered exclusive area. Let's see, never played Turok, only Turok 2. Yeah, Turok 2 is pretty great, but, Turok the Dinosaur Hunter has to be by far my favorite, just because it's a lot more straightforward than Turok 2. I like everything about Turok 1, just a little bit more than Turok 2, just because Turok 1 is a little less, you know, it's a little less established. They're kind of able to do what they want to do. It's a little more grounded, whereas Turok 2 is a little more science fiction influenced. And this is definitely based more on the comic, the original, well, I say the original comic, based more on the Valiant comic than Turok 2. Turok 2 is based on the Acclaim. Acclaim actually did make comics. The Acclaim comic universe. I'm actually going to put a little bit of comics history into the Turok 1 retrospective. I already did kind of a breakdown of the Turok comics continuities, but it is kind of confusing. One other thing I loved about this game was the little portals that would randomly show up. I don't know if I'd say it's Dino Doom. It does have a few differences from Doom, and especially if you compare it to the original Doom. I mean, it is one thing to think about. What we have here is a game from 1996 3 years after Doom. And you consider Doom was entirely 2.5D, you couldn't look up or down, you certainly couldn't jump. That was the fever dream of a madman right there. And then we got this, originally for a console. Now there was a PC release, which I have played. I do like how the game is very nice, and you can fall into that electric blue crap down there as many times as you want. It just starts you up at the beginning. It's one of the few games where the platforming legitimately works. If you fall from the various platforms, it's kind of your fault. It's not really floaty in any way, and it's pretty easy to judge your jumps. And I'll check the chat in just a second once we get out of here. I saw something about Blockbuster, and I gotta mention that. Gotta talk about that. Nurgle's Blight. That's not fun. Where does he put? Why always thought you were drinking from? Yeah, I actually thought that when Turok raised that key up, he was drinking from it, but apparently not. All the copies of the game were gone. She was able to get. That's really nice. I like that story. Valiant version Acclaim didn't include more elements from the comic. Yeah, it's kind of strange how Acclaim just kind of picked and chose everything. Watch it. Doom Clone is no longer applicable. A pretty depressing metric for 2024. Let me guess, there's going to be a massive recession. I did not know GoldenEye came out in 1997. Or maybe I didn't, just remembered it. Or, maybe I didn't, just forgot it. Well, I can think good. But, let's see. First video game I saw as a kid, age 2. Damn. Now I feel old. Kill the pig! Oh man, I didn't get as much health from. Kill the pig, drain its blood. I think that's from Lord of the Flies. A book I've never read, but am aware of. So yeah, I actually first played this shortly after it came out, but did not own an N64. And so me and my family rented the game and the console from Blockbuster. You used to be able to do that. I actually had a conversation with a really good friend of mine about the N64, and this individual, who shall remain nameless, although you know who you are, said it was the 3rd greatest console of the 90s. How dare you? How dare you? Said that the PlayStation was better. I'd have to ask you, what PlayStation game even comes close to this? I know that I'm like kind of the outlier in love. Also, for those of you who are Sega fans, and I have friends who are massive Sega fans, this friend also said that the Sega Saturn was the 2nd best console of the 90s. I'm not sure where they're getting that. I don't know where they're getting that. I'm just saying, like, for me, the N64 is the best console of the 90s just because there's so many good games for this thing. I can name, like, 10, well, I'm not going to say 10, because I won't be able to think of that many, but I can just name a bunch of games off the top of my head. Turok 1, Turok 2, GoldenEye, World Is Not Enough, Rogue Squadron, Battle of Naboo, Shadows of the Empire, Episode 1 Racer. Oh man, there's only 2 more. Oh crap. Army Men, Sergeant's Heroes, which isn't that bad. Army Men Air Attack? I'm sure there's better ones than those 2, but those are the 2 that come to mind. And yes, I had all of those. But it's like, what about PlayStation? What, is it Resident Evil? Fuck Resident Evil. Let's see, rented a Virtual Boy from Blockbuster. I did that too! I rented a Virtual Boy and it was shit. I mean, it was wonderful. The Virtual Boy had a problem of not having any good games that I never really cared about. It's like, what are you gonna play, Telro Boxer? Or that Star Fox game that was virtually unplayable? You know, the CDI and 3DO, I never even saw those back in the 90s. I had no idea that they even existed. I saw the Atari Jaguar a grand total of once at a game store. Once. Once. You know, Final Fantasy VII. My only problem with Final Fantasy VII is I just don't like JRPGs. At one time, I did own the original PS1 game. I eventually sold it, I think. Although I don't remember when I did that. I know I got rid of it at some point. I tried playing it. I really did. I gave it the college try, and it's just, I can't the art design just doesn't do it for me. I can't stand the art design. The writing isn't really that great. You know, for me, I think to myself, what if I had a PlayStation in the 90s instead of the N64? None of the games for the PlayStation just do it for me quite like the N64 games do. Because I just don't like JRPGs. I didn't really like Resident Evil that much. And yeah, they had the CDs, but I'd rather have cartridges and good games. The PS2 is pretty good. I'm actually recorded some gameplay footage today for Time Splitters 1. Almost said Transplitters, but that's no, that would get me banned off of YouTube. But yeah, Time Splitters 1. I had never actually played it until today, and I gotta say it's pretty good. I mean, it's not as good as say GoldenEye, but it comes pretty close. It's done by the same people who did GoldenEye. It's a very short game, only about an hour. I think you're supposed to primarily just play it multiplayer. Let's see. Ever go to Incredible Universe? Never heard of it. Wait, there we go. Mario Party 2, Shadow Man, Army Man, Air Combat, Super Smash Brothers! Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah, Battle Tanks! Battle Tanks 1 and 2. Battle Tanks Global Assault was the last N64 game I ever rented, and I rented that from a Hollywood Video in 2001, I think. Shortly before I would get an Xbox Original. Battle Tanks Global Assault was the only N64 game I ever played multiplayer in the 90s itself. And it was only once, but I'll never forget. It was actually quite a bit of fun. I know I've complained about Resident Evil. Really, people? You can message me right now? I don't know why I got dinged, but somebody dinged me. Ah, well. Always right now. RE2 Remake, I've not played that, unfortunately. Legacy of Kain. I'm aware of Legacy of Kain, but I've never played it. Let's see here. I just can't ever think of like a PlayStation 1 game that I liked as much as an N64 game, though. Like, I really enjoyed that Bruce Willis game, but you can't really compare that to Turok. At least in my book, you can't. I think the version of Hexen that was on PlayStation 1 was pretty limited. The enemies could only face you, whereas on the N64, they actually were fully animated. Okay, so here's something that's kind of funny. This is the invincibility power-up. And it's not just invincibility. Oh no, it's the spiritual invincibility. And then things just get kind of weird and everything's kind of slowed down. My assumption here is that Turok just got high as fuck on peyote. I just, not trying to be offensive, but I mean, that's kind of what that looks like. It looks like Turok just smoked up like 2 pounds of peyote and now he's fucking high, so he can't feel pain and has basically, you know, slow-mo, you know, Turok powers. It's like, what else is that supposed to be? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just, the cheat for that is disco mode, but I just assume that Turok just got high right now. It just, that's what it looks like. It's not my fault. I didn't program the game. I'm not rich. You gotta feel bad for some of those little guys. You know, you got people with plasma rifles, and those plasma rifle people hurt. You got guys throwing grenades, and then all you got is a machete. You got some of these guys, all they have is a machete. That's it. That's all they got. You gotta know you're expendable when other people have plasma rifles and grenades, and you got a fucking knife. Now, there's not really much story here. Everything's kind of implied, but it works. At least in my book, this works because you don't really need to know that much more. It's like, you're Turok. You hunt dinosaurs and giant bugs. I mean, what else do you really need to know? And you can just sort of imply what's going on around here. Now, of course, if you really dig deep into the story, you know, it works a little better, but still. Light post films, I'm doing, I guess is the best I can put it. You know, I'm not really doing great, but I'm just getting work done so I can not think about being sad. And if I focus on something else, it's not quite so horrible. I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, over the last couple weeks, you know, I've been able to kind of come to terms with with what has gone on, but it's like, it still just seems kind of unbelievable that he is gone. But I'm able to at least be functional, which is good enough for me. It's one of those things that it's very easy to say something like, well, you know, you get somebody who's in their 80s, it's not that surprising, but it still is. It's just one of them things. And yeah, he must have something on him. On a budget, the economy is bad. Pfft, yeah. Blast Core. You know, I've heard of that, but I've never played it. And yeah, the water music. Like, this is one of those games that, I'm going to mention that in the retrospective, but back in the day, every aspect of a game had a lot of heart and soul put into it. But because we've got music for jumping in the water. Okay, that's just jumping in the water. You're not going to listen to the entire song because you drowned. But that's how much detail old games had put into them. You wouldn't see something like that today. Like, not at all. And that's not because modern developers are incompetent. It's just everything is made for profit projections and things of that nature. Okay, we need to bring up the map here. Because there's a key we gotta get. And it's very easy to miss it. Now, the whole idea of the game is you're collecting keys to open up stargates, and each level will have a certain number of keys, and the game doesn't really tell you where the keys even are, but they're not that hard to find if you basically search everything. These levels aren't that huge either, so it's not really tedious. Yeah, I've heard of the Star Trek Coda novels. I'm not really that interested in them just because I know that basically ends the entire Star Trek novel verse, which I'm not really sure that was necessary. So what this is the Chronoceptor piece. Throughout this game and the other Turok games, you can collect some sort of ultimate weapon, which is cool, but you don't really need it. The ultimate weapons generally aren't that great, and you can defeat the final boss pretty easily if you have plenty of explosive shotgun shells. Right now we're just looking at the map here. We're going to basically fill in everything we haven't filled in yet, so we can make sure we get that key that should be in this area. Okay, we got some ammo, which works. I like the combat rifle here. It's sort of a hybrid. It's kind of like an AK, but that pistol grip, ugh, that's painful. Well, yeah. This is why it's always better to be well armed than the guy with a machete. The first Unreal was very confusing to navigate. I think I only finished that once about 12 years ago. And let's do some stabby stab. I never knew what Mortal Wound was. I think maybe you get a little bit of health from that. Maybe. Oh, that reminds me. Super Mario 64. That's another great game for this thing. I've seen a lot of YouTubers say, like, the controller was designed just for Super Mario 64. It's like, well, no, it worked well with just about anything. I think when it comes to non-fans of the N64, they don't know how to hold the N64 controller. You have to hold it in a certain way, because if you don't, stabby, that shield did not help. That poor machete guy. You got a guy with a shotgun right there. He's got like a pistol. Hey, what did he do to piss off the boss to get machete duty? Machete. Let's see. Destroyed the best version of the Mario universe. And yeah, I do know that happened. The reason why the Star Trek novelverse got eradicated from existence is because they did not want that to contradict Star Trek Picard. At least that's what I read. Jump in the portal! Yeah. Now, each portal won't be randomized. Eventually you'll go through them all, and they'll just start repeating, and they kind of get annoying. Okay, I'm just getting smacked by these fucking hooks. Okay, let's just run over here. Now, you can find some good stuff in these little portals. Sometimes it's not really worth it, but you can like get some weapons or health. But it's neat that they have this. Now, these little portals would not appear again in the rest of the Turok games, though, sadly. Hug the wall and fall it. Or you could blow open the wall like in Metal Gear Solid. I would definitely agree that Quake 2 is. And yeah, none of the novels are supposed to be canon, but that was the reason that was given, is that it would contradict Star Trek Picard, which is supposed to be part of the Prime timeline, which it really isn't. I recently did a video that's going to go up later this month talking about the Star Wars West End Games Style Guide. And one of the things that the West End Games Style Guide says not to do is have a bunch of contemporary references in your media, and Star Trek really needed to try to avoid a lot of contemporary politics. I mean, when you do that, it makes the universe feel really cheap. And that's one of the big problems with any universe these days, is they feel very cheap. They feel very, like, low budgeted in terms of story. And it's quite sad, really, that Star Trek went that route. Stabby stab. Let's see. Where's in the Mirror Universe? Power metal band names. Yeah. The Primogen. The Primogen's light ship. Which we don't really see in this game. We don't really have much of anything here in terms of lore yet. Unless you read the comics, which then you'll know exactly who the Long Hunter character is. Which is a very unfortunate name. I always found the Hunter character... Aw, man, did I miss that key? God damn it. Okay, well, we don't want to miss that. Okay. Wait a minute, where are we? Oh no, I forgot where the key was. That's one of the minor issues with this, is that if you don't remember where that key is, you're screwed. And they're not hard to find, it's just you gotta be in the right... I don't think it's gonna be over here. Short story. Not bad. And yeah, you can need a lot of raid for that. Did I get all the keys? I know I missed one. There should have been one just before we got to the hub ruins. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go all the way through here again. Ugh. The Shatnerverse. Yeah, people like the idea of the Mirror Universe just being endless evil, but that just never really works quite right. There has to be growth, people! Real writers knew that. Oh, screw you. Okay, so... I actually practiced this earlier today, so I would know exactly where that key was, and I blame the chat! I blame the chat on all of it. That's how I was able to miss it. I never could find that auto shotty in this remaster. I don't know what happened to it. I mean, we'll find it in the next couple levels anyway. And it's not really that useful, as it shoots a bit too fast and you can end up wasting your shells. And like in real life, shotgun shells are expensive. Unless you're using birdshot. Okay, so we gotta go all the way back because we missed that one bloody key. Yeah, 40K is interesting in that it's less of a evil universe and more of just a, I'd almost say sort of a realist universe. The people in that act mostly realistically. Mostly. In fact, if you consider the Cthulhu mythos, it's like, which that universe kind of is, it's like, they're doing pretty good. Okay, now where is that key? I know it's in this area. It's like, it's very easy to miss. Especially if you're not paying attention. Could it be... I don't think it's over here. In fact, I think this just has health down here. Yeah, it does. And I'm not hurt enough to even get it. Alright, so where is that last key for this level? It can't be over there, because if it was... Yeah, it's gonna have to be on the other side of this portal. Let's see. Force you to take a leap of faith. I never found the vines, though. Okay, where are we here? Okay, we grabbed that key. That's the assault rifle down there. The combat carbine. Was it here that I missed it? Was there 2 keys here? Because I know I grabbed the key that was over here. I think it might... My theory is that the key we need to get is on the other side of this. Otherwise, it's a rock formation. Oh, okay. That's easy. That'd be easy enough to miss. Now, thankfully, level 2 and 3 aren't too bad. I know you had to go in like a hidden rock formation to get... Okay, there's that key. We got it. So we got that. I like how the music changes dynamically based upon where you are. It's not just the same song all throughout. Okay, so here we are. Back here. It is somewhere over here. Now, where it is over here... I think this is also a area added in by the remaster. I think. Because it seems a bit too big for that era of the N64. Okay, so there's nothing over here. I didn't think there would be. I don't think we want to jump into that portal just yet. It's one of those things, if you're not paying attention, very easy to miss. Okay, so we are gonna have to jump down here, and I must have missed it. That's where it was. Okay. Alright, I think I know where this is. It should be over here somewhere. I think there might be some health or ammo down here. Just gotta kind of like not leave any stone unturned. Godzilla -1 is actually in consideration for Best Picture. Now that I would like to see. It's one of those movies that has kind of increased with importance just because it was the last movie I saw before the passing. Okay, so there's a key over here. So there should be. No, there's not. What? There it is. That's how I missed it. It's hidden by the tree. Alright. You have to actually look. Let's see. Auto shotgun. Now, this King Kong looking kind of guy here is something called a Perlin. They'll become a much bigger villain in Turok 2. And will even show up in Turok 3, but their design changes quite a bit between games. I kind of prefer this design. They're not too overly complex. A lot of these different enemies will get enhancements in Turok 2. Enhancements? Oh my. Okay, let's activate these Stargates. I wonder if these were based on Stargate. I'm not sure if Stargate was that popular at the time for that to be a reality, though. I think just the first movie had come out by the time this game was released. Alright, let's go ahead and save. Now, unlike with the Turok 2 remaster, you can't save anywhere you want. You'd have to actually go to those little save shrines. We can run through the jungle? Or is it welcome to the jungle? Are there fun and games here, I wonder? It better be. I paid $60 for this game. Well, actually, I did not pay $60 for this game, but the original game I bought back in the 90s was something like $40 or $50 used with just the cartridge. These games were not cheap. I think that's something that modern gamers may not really appreciate, is depending on who developed the game, a game could cost a different price. Like, you might be able to get some N64 games cheaper, but Turok here, I think, was somewhere around $80 new. I'll never forget that Donkey Kong Country, back in 1994 for the Super Nintendo, that was an $80 game. And, you know, it was actually worth the $80. It was a goddamn hard game, I'll tell you that. It's one is a pretty great film. And, yeah, Godzilla -1, I was very surprised at just how good it was. I wonder how many of the talking heads on YouTube were just jumping on the bandwagon, though. Like, did they actually see it? Because they do parrot a lot of the opinions on it. Now, if I'm not mistaken... Yep, there it is. Now, this doesn't actually give us anything, but I think some extra health and ammo. Nostalgia from 2017. I mean, that was, I think like, what, 8 years ago now? This is where a game didn't have to take itself all that too seriously. Jump! Oh, almost fell. I mean, it's very easy to fall in this game. Do we want to jump down there? Actually, let's go ahead and jump in that portal anyway. Mortal Kombat Trilogy was $70. Man. I never was a big fighting game in the 90s or today. I mean, when I had Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo, I can't imagine how much that cost, and Mortal Kombat. But after that, I just didn't really care that much about the punchies. I think if I had actual human friends, as opposed to alien friends, had actual people to play with that were into that kind of game, I might have been into it more. But since I primarily was a single-player gamer, it didn't really do much for me. Now we're gonna try to get to the Long Hunter boss, but he's a long way away. Alright, do we want to get the ammo, or do we want to get... let's get the shotty shells. And try not to get smacked. Now, those things can't actually knock you off of there, but they do hurt. Do we want to jump down that portal? Yeah, let's... I think that just gives you health and ammo, which we don't really need right now. Godzilla since the original. And yeah, I would agree that -1 really is the best in terms of character. There's some characterization in other Godzilla films, but this one actually had you care in a way that other Godzilla... You gotta hear, Raptor. Nobody likes you. You're not scientifically accurate. Real velociraptors did not have spikes on their heads. I mean, like, 0 out of 10. I actually had a conversation the other day about Jurassic Park. It's actually kind of an interesting one in that, like, you know, technically Jurassic Park didn't have enough Jurassic animals in it to really count. But it's one of those things where you gotta come up with a catchy name, and Jurassic Park is much more catchy than Cretaceous Park, or, honestly, I know there was a TV show called, Camp Cretaceous, but Camp Cretaceous just sounds cheap. And Triassic Park just sounds terrible. Jurassic just sounds awesome! Okay, this was just a random secret area. Since this uses the lives system, you want to stock up on those things for boss fights. Although I have to say, the Long Hunter boss is by far the hardest boss in the game. The T-Rex boss at the end, at least in the remaster, is really easy. The Praying Mantis, also pretty easy. But that Long Hunter, he's got all those long-range attacks, and he can just tank your shots. That's what he's supposed to be. That's his name. I'm just saying. He kidnapped Turok and locked him in a cage. His love dungeon. That did actually happen in the comic. As you'd expect, Turok got out, and I think either Turok killed him or a dinosaur ended up killing the Long Hunter. I can't remember. Yeah, the original... Well, not the original. The original comic is technically from the 50s. The Valiant comic from the early 90s gave Turok a intelligent, cybernetic velociraptor nemesis for a few issues. I do think Turok finally killed that guy, though. I think. And yeah, the music in this game is absolutely amazing. You know, even 76,000 emails. Oh my god. You can finish it in 4 hours. Well, I recorded about 4 hours of gameplay footage when I started gathering footage for the retrospective, which I'm going to do in a couple months. His name is Israel Crockett. Oh, he lived throughout the whole comic? I could have swore that Turok got him. Turok caused the comics crash. Ouch. Let's see here. The 2008 game, I said, was very mediocre. Today, I'm much more positive about it. When you compare the 2008 game to this, it's pretty mediocre. But the story's pretty good. I really like the character arc for the Turok character. I like the fact that Ron Perlman is a major character. The boss fights aren't too bad. I mean, they're not as good as this, but when you consider that most now modern games have no boss fights or really any personality, Turok 2008 looks a whole lot better, doesn't it? It's one of those things that when you compare Turok 2008 to what came before, not as good. When you compare it to a lot of the games released at the same time, it's pretty amazing that that kind of game got made. Monarch did die, but he was revived into a human host. Yeah, I do not remember any of that. It's been kind of interesting that, you know, Native Americans, Indians have been able to have the media presence that they have had. It's kind of weird. You can see in a lot of Westerns that they were heroic Indian characters, even in the 40s. And weirdly enough, the Nat Sox, for some reason, really were enamored by Native Americans. I mean, it's very strange to me, but then again, socialists are weird. I mean, never mind. Oh man, I'm totally gonna get canceled for that one. Compare Turok to 2008 to Evolution. Yeah, I've not played Turok Evolution. Or at the very least, I haven't played it very much now that I think of it. I think I rented it back in like 2005 or so. But I don't remember being particularly impressed by it. Okay, the plasma bastards. These guys are going to start showing up more. They can tank your hits, and those plasma shots hurt bad. They're harder than some of the bosses. Let's go ahead and save. Oh my. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people like Turok Evolution. I played the Xbox version for like a weekend, and I just was not that impressed. But I don't remember hardly anything about it. So I'm not really sure how good or how bad it really is. If I do a video on it, which I guess I will at some point, it'll probably be the PlayStation 2 version, since that's the one that's the easiest to emulate. It's sad that Xbox emulation just isn't quite there yet. Same, Fate is Blood 2, release half finished, yep. Imagine fight plasma guys on hardcore. Yeah, I just play this on normal. I'm a normal man. I'm just a normie. Just playing a game here, pal. But yeah, Turok 2008, I think it was remarkably not terrible. If it wasn't for the story and Ron Perlman, I don't think I'd be as positive about it. But I mean, Ron Perlman! It's Ron Perlman, people! How can you not like it? Stab him! These guys have a pretty good arm and are remarkably accurate. But, he doesn't even have a shirt. Let's jump in here and see. Oh, this can really screw you. See, you gotta time that just right, and you can lose more health than you gain by trying to grab that full health there. We're gonna try it anyway. Okay, let's... Goes in. And... Well, that was a big waste. That was a fucking waste right there. I almost got the timing right. I'm gonna blame the chat anyway. It's not hard. Even streamed it. The original Xbox is one of my favorite consoles, just because that was how I was able to play a lot of my favorite games from that era, because I did not have a PC at the time that could run any of that. So when I think of the great games on the Xbox, I'm thinking of Halo 1 and 2, KOTOR 1 and 2, Doom 3 and Resurrection of Evil, Battlefront 1 and 2, Star Wars The Clone Wars. That was a pack-in game. That was actually pretty good. Predator Concrete Jungle. That's the... I played that on there. Ooh, I'm still trying to think of some of the others. I had a massive library for the Xbox that ultimately ended up parting with it. For a really... Well, I guess it's a really stupid reason, but... I basically got fed up with the Xbox constantly fucking up all the time, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sell the whole thing. Now, one of the ways the Xbox could fail to work is that DVD dongle, which is such cash-grabby bullshit. It was a harbinger for the future, because that if you wanted to watch DVDs on the Xbox, you had to buy literally a it could run it out of the box, but you had to buy this little thing that allowed you to use the Xbox DVD remote. If you didn't have that, it wouldn't work. And that could actually hose up the console to where it wouldn't work. So, the Xbox, I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but good God was that thing just not well built. If Rambo and Turok fought each other, who do you think would survive? See, since they're both heroes, I'd like to think that they would stop before the killing blow was struck. But when it comes to, I guess let's say there was an evil Rambo or an evil Turok, probably Turok's gonna win. Yeah, see, Rambo's one of the problems, not to be depressing, ladies and gentlemen, one of the problems when someone dies, especially if you're close to them, it seems like everything kind of reminds you of them, and Rambo reminds me of my grandfather, because he has a replica of the Rambo knife, and it's a very cool knife. I'm not sure how useful it would be for, like, actual combat, but it's a very neat little knife. Thief 3 on Xbox, never played it. And agnostic, libertarian, I thought it said librarian. I'm doing, alive. I am alive and mostly sane. Mostly. Turok versus the Predator. Now, see, that's a better matchup, because, then Turok wouldn't be holding anything back. Since he's got his light burden, he could reach in there and pull out a, missile launcher or something. I mean, that would work. I mean, he could pull out the Chronoscepter and just vaporize him. That's the sad part about the Predator, though. It's like, there's no way a Predator can win when he's fighting against a famous character, because imagine if the Predator actually took down, like, Batman. There'd be riots in the streets. Nobody wants to see Batman killed by the Predator. It's like, really? That's what takes him down? Although there's a famous comic panel from an AVP comic where we get to see a female, oh dear, Predator's trophy wall, and it's got Batman, Magneto, Wolverine, Cyclops. It's like, I'm not sure this is really something that could happen. Now, it's just a joke. It's not meant to be canonical, but I always just found that kind of funny. Okay, what we need to do is, I think I did, oh, I didn't go down that stupid thing. Damn it. Okay, well, let's go over here anyway and grab that full health. Yeah, it's very easy for me to... Now, there's a Chronoscepter piece, which is not really what we're trying to find. We're trying to find a key. I'm sitting here just jabbering away, not grabbing that key. Okay, we don't want to go over here yet, because we missed a key, I think. Maybe we already grabbed it? No, I don't think we did. Okay, let's go back here. Yeah, I know I didn't go down there. Okay, we had to go all the way back, because what we needed to do is we needed to go in this little cave, and that'll spit us out where a key is going to be. The cerebral boar. Oh man, that's just rough. Cerebral boar, the Predator. Even for a guy like me, that's cold. Okay, we gotta go all the way back here because we missed a key that's hidden inside of a cave. Now, if you didn't know that, you'd be wandering around for hours. Because you would assume you didn't have to do that. And if I already grabbed it, I apologize. But I don't think I did. Actually, we can just check. Okay, I didn't. Alright, so you have to go up there to get that key, and the only way you can do that is by going in this cave. Like I said, if you didn't know this was in here, like, how do I get up there? Now, on just normal difficulty, you're not going to drown too quickly. And this is one of the few cave systems that's kind of confusing. I also like how you can only use your knife underwater, even though technically you should be able to use at least a couple of those firearms under there. Not gonna be using the bow, that's for sure. Still things are... That's the thing. Since my grandfather passed, the big problem is I have been close to him for the last 35 years, my entire life. Okay, so we still gotta find 2 keys. These levels are pretty huge, especially when you consider that originally this was on a cartridge-based console. Hunter the Reckoning. I've never played that. Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden is a game I've only played a little bit, and I played the Xbox 360 version and thought it was perfectly adequate, but that's about it. It was a little too hard for my taste. The PS2 British game called The Getaway. Never heard of it. Okay, let's go ahead and save just in case. Alright. Now, thankfully, some of the key hunts get a little easier as you go along. Alright, now where are we? Alright, let's see. So we must have... Alright, I think I know where the other key is. By the DVD remote. Yeah, but see, like with the PS2, at least most of it was already available. Most of the functionality was already available. What's kind of funny is I was trying to watch a DVD with my friends about 12 years ago. I'll never forget this. Never forget this. Okay, I got my modern day Xbox 360, right? I should be able to just pop a DVD in there and watch it normally. Well, no, because the TV it's connected to says that it's got some sort of copyright on it that won't allow me to run it. So you know what I do? Just pop it into the PS2. Old reliable PlayStation 2. I would not get a PS2 until, I think, 2006, when my Xbox failed me for the last time. Now see, this is where we're starting to get some repeats, so we're just going to jump right back through the portal. When the Xbox failed for the last time, I went ahead and just, went to the other side, oh dear, and bought a used PlayStation 2, and I was pretty happy with that. There was a lot of good stuff on the PS2. I really enjoyed Mercenaries Playground of Destruction, and I also was a big fan of Guitar Hero. That's something that's so old now, but Guitar Hero was, essentially, as the cool kids once said, the shit. Everybody loved Guitar Hero from about 2006 to about 2011. Then after that, nobody cared anymore. But I loved Guitar Hero. It was one of my favorite games for that thing. I mean, yeah, it had very little to do with real guitar playing, but who cares? Okay, I'm kind of wasting my tech arrows here, but whatever. Batman 2022 movie in its universe. I liked The Batman. I went to see it opening night, and I even cosplayed as Batman to the theater. Because yes, I'm a weirdo. Essentially, I thought it was pretty good. It was a little long. They could have cut out that last half hour, and the movie would have been a lot better for it. But other than that, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I actually got a really cool picture when I cosplayed at the Comic Palooza with a guy dressed up as the Riddler from The Batman. It was really cool. But I mean, it was a really good movie. The only thing, the last 30 minutes went on a bit too long, and the introduction, the intro of the movie went on a little long too. We didn't really need to have the Riddler breathing like he was masturbating or something while watching that guy. It's like they could have cut about 2 minutes off of that and it'd been a lot better. Pretty much died overnight. One day it was super popular, the next day nobody cared. Yeah, that's true. I loved Guitar Hero though. It was a lot of fun. It introduced me to a lot of classic rock I hadn't heard of. Like Spanish Castle Magic. I never even heard of that song before. It's just one of those things that it was definitely a flash in the pan. Okay, we want to jump all the way across there. Since you can't sprint, one of the few times you kind of need that. Now imagine if you didn't know that key was there. Imagine if you did not know that was there. You would have been screwed. This is almost as bad as those point-and-click adventure games. Almost, at least. Alright, I also was a big fan of Rock Band. Rock Band was fun, too, in its own way. That reminds me, I was at a grocery store the other day, which also was kind of hard just because it was the grocery store my grandparents went to all the time. That was rough. But at that grocery store, they started playing a song from, I think, like 2005. I forget what the formal name of it is, but it's Are You Gonna Be My Girl by some band I can't remember the name of. And I'm like, that used to be popular. Now it's in a grocery store. I think the most scary one that showed how old I am is when they were playing the 2012 hit Call Me Maybe. It's like, that's in a grocery store now too? What happened? Let's see. Cowboy Bebop. Not bad. I gotta look for that at some point. It had a Long Cool Woman. I don't remember. I do not remember that being in a Guitar Hero game, but it might have been one of the ones I did not play. I don't think I ever played the Xbox 360 versions of Guitar Hero once. Okay, now if you don't know what that is, you might be screwed. That is a trap, and I've got 4 health. That will take like 20 points off of your health if you let that smack into you. And if you have no idea what it is, you are screwed. Yeah, when I made the jump from the PS2 to Xbox 360, I went straight to Rock Band. It's kind of weird that Mortal Kombat now has all these guest characters, like Rambo and RoboCop, and the little bits of dialogue you get when the fights start give you so much lore, it's not even funny. It's like they're very efficient with what little time they have. And like, I want some of those stories, like where there's like a clone of RoboCop, or RoboCop going on like this dimension-hopping adventure, or meeting up with Spawn. RoboCop versus Spawn. Now that's an interesting thing. RoboCop doesn't stand a chance, mainly because RoboCop wasn't designed to fight, well, Hellspawn. But still, though, it's kind of an interesting concept. You got this guy that dies and is resurrected as a robot, and you got another guy who dies and is resurrected by hell as a Hellspawn. Sort of like a dark reflection of what RoboCop is. 20 years since I graduated high school. Oh my god! I still got a few years before I have to worry about that. I graduated in 07, and so I still got a few years yet. Thankfully. And yeah, hearing that T-Rex in the background has always been really neat. And yeah, Long Cool Woman is a very good song. I used to listen to that on repeat. But then I eventually got tired. Damn it! Shot in the back. Graduated in 2012. My god. What's really scary is I graduated from college, for all the good that college degree did me, in 2013. 10 years ago. Well, over 10 years ago now. If I could do it all again, I would not have paid that kind of money to get an education that really ultimately wasn't worth much. Thankfully, it was not too expensive, so it's not that big of an economic hit, but still. I would have just got the A+ certification and been done with it, because that's been much more useful. 2014, my god. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I blame the chat for everything! Okay, where are we? We need to... Okay, we went over there. We don't need to go back down there, so I think we're going on the right path. Gundam Seed on DVD. That's one of those things where people are starting to find out that streaming is not quite what it was cracked up to be, because Netflix does like to remove things, and it's only until very recently that they tell people that they're removing stuff. Used to be it was just gone. I was really happy that Star Trek was on Netflix, so I didn't have to constantly go get my Star Trek DVDs, but now it's like, uh-oh, it's gone now, and I'm not going to get Paramount Plus or anything modern day streaming. I like having a physical hard copy. Damn it. I always like the design of this bow. Looks very futuristic. And yeah, high school really is kind of a prison for kids. And I said that before it was cool. And people say that now, but I used to call it the pseudo-prison. Because that really is what it is. You barely can learn anything because all the kids are screaming and screeching like they always do. And I was in what were called advanced classes. I'm like, if that was advanced, what was the stupid kid classes like? Yeesh. Gundam Seeder gets killed in combat on the Blu-ray remaster. It's edited to make it look like he runs to the blade. Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, you'll own nothing and be happy. I'll be surprised that that doesn't... Bought TNG on Blu-ray. I mean, TNG on Blu-ray is actually pretty good. They fixed some of the effect shots. Although, my only problem with Blu-ray or watching old TV shows in high def is you can really see a lot of the flaws. I've mentioned this in other streams before, so forgive me if you've heard this before, but when you watch Star Trek TNG in HD, you see the belts, and you're not supposed to see that. The uniforms for the TNG uniforms have a little belt on them, and in standard def, you don't see it. In high def, it's as obvious as anything. It's like, no! Stop looking at the flaws. Okay, where are we? I think we need to jump down here, maybe? Okay, wait a minute. This is a part that always kind of messes me up. Because we have to go... Because there's one last key over here. And I'm not sure if I was supposed to jump onto something or not. Or maybe there's another, maybe there's another cave. Scuff marks on the set, yeah. You can definitely see that. There's some things that can do with a remaster, like Babylon 5. Babylon 5 has some really bad CG. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Babylon 5 does not have really bad CG. It has remarkably good and complex CG that Star Trek could only have dreamt of, but at the same time, it really doesn't look that great either. Sort of a trade-off, I guess. I'd like to see that remastered at some point, but that would be pretty expensive, I think. Okay, now, we need to get up there, and I'm not sure how you do that. You see, I guess what you would do normally is you'd grab that key first. But there's a way to get up there, and I can never remember how to do that. I'm not sure if there's some vines or a rock wall or something, but there is a way to get up here. And you can get the key. Completely reconstruct TNG for high def. One thing about TNG high def is it's just the fact that that's the only time I think something like that has really been done. Because of that expense, I think if they were going to do something like that for Stargate, there'd be like $1 million an episode or something, which, yeah, MGM doesn't have the money for that. Okay, now how do we get back up there? And I'd had to go through the entire level, and I remember when I recorded this, that I was able to get back up there somehow. Also, the water reflections are absolutely beautiful. But I think there's one little area you like drop down into, but I don't know what it was or where it was. There it is. That's what I thought. I don't know if that would have shown up on the map or not, though. But HD remasters are okay. I can see why people do it, but man, does it take away some of the immersion. Like, if you ever watch James Bond in HD, especially anything with Roger Moore, my God, he looks old. I mean, I know he was old, but man, you watch Moonraker, he looks positively ancient in that. And Roger Moore's one of those interesting Bonds in that he definitely kind of outstayed his welcome. I think by the last one he was like almost 60, and his the Bond girl was like in her 20s. It's like, oh dear. Okay, I'm gonna waste so many shells on this guy. I always love this shotgun model. I've always been a big fan of the old wood and steel pump-action shotguns. Although, ironically enough, I don't actually own one myself. Eventually, I do plan on getting a Winchester 1897, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Don't have too much time to go to actually go shoot a shotgun, since most ranges won't let you do it. Yeah, View to a Kill, where you've got, oh, I can't remember his name now. You know, the guy, I'm not bad with names, I just can't ever remember this guy's name for some reason. It's like with Liam Neeson. I can never remember that guy's name, and anytime I try to tell somebody about a movie he's in, I'm like, you know, the guy who played Qui-Gon. And so, like, the main villain from View to a Kill, you know, the guy, he's like, plays the quirky characters, you know, that guy, yeah, Christopher Walken, there we go. The quirky guy. Okay, we want to go to, actually, let's save real quick. The Bond girl's mom, oh my. Browning Auto 5. Yeah, Die Another Day, I've never seen it. I've heard that it's supposed to be bad, but eh. Now, I'm not sure if this is the level where we get to the Long Hunter or not. I think we'll finish this one, though. Let's see here. Call of Duty game is my favorite. Now, I'm not sure. I want to say Call of Duty 1, but COD 2 does have a lot of things going for it. My only problem with COD 2 is I think that started to really popularize the idea of the spectacle shooter in a way that hadn't really been popular before. And so it's kind of like the harbinger of bad things to come. I think COD 1 is probably my favorite. COD 2 is a close second, though. My grandfather's a big fan of COD 2. He quite liked it. Christopher Jelly Donut Walken. There's about Christopher Walken playing the Emperor. Hey, Christopher Walken is actually a pretty good actor, though. I think he'll do pretty well. I mean, he mainly does play the quirky roles, but I think he'll take it seriously enough that he'll do pretty good. Let's see. I missed something there. Timothy Dalton, you know, that's one of those things that everybody loves that guy, and I think he was pretty good, but I don't think he's quite as god tier as everyone says he is, though. I mean, he was only in 2 Bond movies, after all. For me, it's still going to be Sean Connery, just because he did a very good job on a consistent basis. I mean, if Timothy Dalton had made more than just 2, would people still think he was as good as all that? I don't really know. Did I really start drowning there? I thought I had more air than that. Now, when it comes to Timothy Dalton, though, my favorite role he ever played was as the villain in Hot Fuzz. Like, he was just perfect in that. Man, Hot Fuzz, is that almost 20 years old now? I liked Hot Fuzz more than I did Shaun of the Dead. And way more than that third one. God. That fucking robot alien thing. Somebody must have been high when they made that, or maybe they weren't high enough. It's only a 2. And yeah, I know there's some rights issues, and then they brought in, they originally wanted Brosnan, but he couldn't get out of Remington Steele. That's one of those things. Remington Steele is a very 80s show that few people even remember. Oh, really? No! Okay, I did not die. I'm not sure if I'd say GoldenEye is the best, but I would definitely say it's pretty up there, at least for me. I'm not sure what the best James Bond movie would really be. I need to watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service, because that looks like one of the better ones. But a few of the clips I've seen, the fight scenes look really bad, with a lot of sped up, obviously sped up, really, I felt again, I'm blaming the chat. The Rocketeer. I'm sorry, Silver Wings, I can't stand The Rocketeer. I tried to watch that when I was on vacation this year, And I gotta tell you, it was rough. The guy playing the Rocketeer, he lacked screen presence, and his character was written to be kind of a doofus. I was expecting something like Rick O'Connell from The Mummy, and I did not get that. It may be one of those movies that I have to give a second chance to, because I was expecting one thing and got another, and so I'm like, so I couldn't even really finish it. The world is not enough. I mean, it's not bad. I don't know if I'd say it is quite as good as, say, GoldenEye, but it's better than it's better than it could have been. Yeah, I've seen Henry Cavill is apparently going to be able to do his Warhammer stuff. We'll see. We'll see if it ever actually gets made. Who I would like to have seen play Caiaphas Cain. I'm not sure if he's alive anymore, though. All my favorite actors are kind of dead at the moment. For me, I think I would like to have actually seen, I can't remember his name either. The guy who played Mr. Bean, who also was in Blackadder, who played Blackadder. I think he could actually bring a lot of the gravitas and the humor to the role. Kill the pig, drink its blood. I mean, only on this stream are we going to talk about gravitas and then killing pigs and drinking their blood. Yeah, that's his name. Hotspot, the rocket pack wheel, I think blasting off. Oh my. Yeah, Rowan Atkinson, I would like to see him playing. I'm not sure if he's even alive anymore. If he is, I know he's got to be really old at this point. So he's probably too old for that role, but if they were going to actually do anything with the Warhammer property, Caiaphas Cain is probably the best bet to get the normies to watch, because he's pretty understandable. He's not going to be, you know, some sort of insane space marine shouting for the Emperor. You could have the humor that everybody wants, and you could make some pretty cheap movies and TV shows out of the Caiaphas Cain books, because he's always going into caves, and caves are cheap. You could just build like a virtual set, you know, on the volume, and there you go, you're fine. Okay, we're gonna actually run away from all these guys, and we're gonna actually jump into this temple here, because there is a save shrine, which we want to get to, like, immediately, because I am really hurt. Oh, you bastard! I knew he was in here, but fuck that guy. Fuck you! Oh, I've got like 3 health! Save! Fuck those plasma pieces of crap. Yep, I knew I'd die. But whatever, I'm fine. I'll live. Again. And yeah, Cain is basically a harder-edged version of Han Solo. Like a much harder-edged version of the character, but works. Okay, we want to jump over here. I think there's a key over here. There's a key up here somewhere. You have to, like, time it just right. Ooh, a good Gunnar Jurgen. I know who could have played him back when he was younger. There was a Star Trek actor who was in a bunch of different things. He was a character actor with a mustache. It doesn't really narrow it down much, but he was like in Star Trek Voyager. He was in a bunch of sitcoms. And I think he'd be perfect for Gunnar Jurgen. Rowan Atkinson as Han Solo. I could see it. I could see that. I'm a big fan of that guy. I remember when I first reviewed Caiaphas Cain, everybody complained that I pronounced it Caiaphas Cain. It's like, motherfucker, how many people do you honestly think even know who that character is, much less say the name out loud? Finally got that auto-shotty. And also, how many times have I ever heard some of these fictional characters' names spoken by another human being that wasn't me? And also, in 2009 when I first reviewed that, I'd never even heard of Blackadder. The ability to watch stuff like that was not really available at that time. Or if it was available, it was just coming online. I mean, today, anybody could look up Blackadder, but like back then, not really. Jeffrey Combs. I'd like to see that, but Jeffrey Combs is too old to play that character. Jeffrey Combs, everybody's getting old. I mean, that's kind of what happens, but yeesh. I would like to have seen, I know that apparently John Wayne was in Star Wars as the spy character. I can't remember the name at the moment. But I'd like to have seen John Wayne in a sci-fi role. But sadly, by the time that sci-fi became more accepted than it was, he was either already dead or too old to play anything. That's one of those things that's going to be kind of creepy and kind of interesting as the technology matures. When we start to have CGI actors. For me, that's not a surprising concept, because I started reading about that in science fiction ages ago. In fact, the whole idea of like AI music, that was from an Aliens book, where AI was used to resurrect Elvis and the Beatles and all the rest, although I think a couple of the Beatles are still alive now. What's kind of funny is, when I used to talk to my grandfather about music, he always said that when the Beatles started playing, he would turn the radio off. Because he hated them. I mean, they're not bad. But I can see why somebody who grew up with, like, country music would be like, Beatles, fuck those guys. And for any of my British fans out there, in America we generally refer to British people as limeys. Where that comes from is, I think it's a myth that, like, Royal Navy sailors would routinely eat lime so as not to catch scurvy. I'm not sure if that's true, though. I'm not sure. I assume that's a myth. I'm not sure, like, how common limes were back in the 1700s, but whatever. Cavill would pull off solid Eisenhorn. Yeah, I could see that. Tifa. Benelli. But yeah, you know, that's what apparently that's supposed to be. I don't know about limes or not. I actually talked to somebody who's from New Zealand about that, and they were like, well, limes were technically not available. It's like, I don't know. I'm just an American. You're lucky I could even find the UK or New Zealand on a map. I mean, if you go to the average, like, high school age person, they barely can even know what a map is. But anyway, that's probably not true. See, the auto shotty's pretty neat, but man, you get any mud anywhere near this operating mechanism, you are fucked. It's like, can you imagine trying to clean mud out of that? I'd just buy a new gun. Emily Blunt as Amberly Vale, I could see that. What you need is a chick who can look crazy while also being funny. My kind of women. I just am kind of afraid of anything getting made by Amazon because they always have to have diversity these days. And it's not even real diversity, it's just basically picking people on basis of what they look like, not if they can actually play the role. Which isn't real diversity, it's the opposite, but whatever. That's why, you know, it used to be diversity of thought, not just, oh yeah, we're gonna have this arbitrary definition of what diverse means. What's sad is, you know, you got the talking heads on YouTube that are always talking about SJ-dubs. Sadly, their content is so generic that it kind of just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And they all say pretty much the same things, and they only really get popular because of the salacious thumbnails. Thumbnails, ladies and gentlemen. That is something I'm really bad at, but I'm kind of glad I'm bad at it, because can you imagine, like, if I had, like, the red eyes and all the rest? That'd just be terrible. I think when it comes to Caiaphas Cain and Warhammer 40k, his culture is all about self-sacrifice and dying and all the rest, and he's really not into the whole death thing, and so he thinks of himself as a coward when in reality he's just smart. It's like you're supposed to outfight your enemies, not just die for the cause. Yeah, diversity of thought is something that is very uncommon these days. It's one of those things that if people actually had any conversations about different topics, that'd be too difficult. They'd rather just rant about it on social media. social media is one of those things that it's a double-edged sword. It really is. On the one hand, it's great. It allows people to find stuff they might not have ever heard of before. It allows the obscure to become popular, but it also allows people who have the IQ of an artichoke to get popular as well, and espouse stuff that only makes sense to people who have the intelligence. Oh, ooh, can we get down here? I didn't even know this was over here. Gaunt's Ghost. Yeah, Gaunt's Ghost is another good one. It would be more expensive, though. Because I'm thinking in terms of, like, budget. Caiaphas Cain, you only need, like, a couple of guys as background extras. However, with Gaunt's Ghost, you're going to have a lot of characters. It's basically Band of Brothers, but space. And you're going to need some good actors to fill those shoes. That's one of those things, with all those Amazon budgets, you think they'd be able to afford it, but instead they waste all their money on, well, Rings of Power, which everybody hates. Since I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan, it's one of those things that I don't really care that Rings of Power is bad. I mean, it's like first time. Look what they did to Star Trek and Star Wars. Alright, so I think we only have to find 2 more keys. I have no idea where I am now. I don't remember ever going into this area. I just randomly discovered that little, like, mail slot. Oh yeah, the cuck face, as they call it. It's like, yeah, that's just so painful. I will admit, I've kind of thought about creating some thumbnails like that. I'm like, well, if I want to get more views and more, exposure, maybe I have to do it, but then I just can't do it. I just can't. It's just too stupid. Even for a guy like me, that's too dumb. Let's see, maybe I'll find a Chronoceptor piece in here. I got 1 tech arrow. Okay, but we got 3 explosive shells. I'm not sure that was worth my time. I'm just saying, the ultra health isn't bad, but I'd like to have gotten something a little more than that. Let's see here. Yeah, it's just, I don't like the idea of the cuck face. That's just too painful even for me. Soy face, cuck face, same thing. It's sad that, like, the AVGN had to do that. Or once he had some really well done drawn art for his thumbnails, now it's all him with his mouth open. I get why he has to do that, because that's how he pays his bills. But it's like, oh, that's just sad. Is there anything down here? Actually, we don't even need that health. I'm not even gonna swim down there to get it. Hexen 2, I want to say maybe. The problem with something like Hexen 2 is it's very easy to get turned around in that game. And I also haven't tried to get that game working in years. I'm not even sure where my copy of that even is. So I don't know. I mean, I could try that, but yeah, I'm not even sure how I'd get that running. Is there a source port for Hexen 2? I know that runs on the Quake engine, but I'm not sure if Dark Places will work with that. Well, I'd have to look at that. I haven't thought about Hexen 2 in years. Hexen 2 does kind of have a special place in my heart, though, because it was the video I did on that allowed me to get on CGR Undertow about ages ago, 12 years ago. That's something I'm going to mention in the Time Splitters Future Perfect video that's going to come out later this year, is that CGR, or Classic Game Room, sold me a lot of games back in the mid-2010s. Hexen 2's on Steam now? Huh. I did not know that. I actually have a physical copy of Hexen 2, along with the instruction manual. There's a lot! There's like a novella's worth of text in that instruction manual. All I can say is that Raven was a bunch of fucking nerds. Citadel. I don't think I have. I vaguely remember looking that up a while back. This is a lot more straightforward than Hexen 2. Like, this is a lot more straightforward than that game. Hexen 2 makes Hexen 1 look easy. George C. Scott would have made a great Commissar Yorick. Yeah, that'd be awesome. George C. Scott. Now, that's another actor that, if he could be in some sci-fi, he would have gotten even more popular than he already was. I mean, imagine, like, a sci-fi equivalent to Patton. Alright, let's see here. But Citadel, that sounds familiar. I might have looked it up, but just have forgotten about it due to all the crap going on in my actual life. I did look up a game that was basically like Wolfenstein, but the waifus. That looked alright. Oh, Mark Bussler's back. Good. He did some good stuff back in the day. Like I said, he sold me a lot of games. Time Splitters Future Perfect and Just Cause 2. And I never heard of either one of those games if not for him. Yeah, but Commissar Yorick's a little more hardcore than Patton was. Yeah, the Waifu Stein! Yeah, I looked that up. I haven't bought it, but I'll see about doing a video on that at some point. I'm not sure when though, because there's so many games I want to review and so many games. So little time. I'm glad I got more efficient with making videos, though. A lot of self-made synthwave. Not bad. A free demo of Citadel? Okay, I'll take a look at that. I shall have to take a look at that. There's just so many games and then there's mods. Ugh. That's the problem with being, 35 and a grown man, because these days don't have as much time for gaming as I used to. Used to be able to stay up till 3 in the morning. Now, like, staying up till 11, it's like, do I dare? Yeah, Band of Brothers has aged really well. The Pacific is actually even better in many respects, but is way more depressing. I mean, as you'd expect, because, well, the Pacific and all. Okay, so if you don't know what you're doing here, you'll be screwed. Because, see, you gotta get there fast. You might not even know what that switch even does. If you didn't know, okay, come on, pop back up, come on. You have to run. You have to fucking book it over here, because if you don't, and sometimes it doesn't work. Apparently, I hit that goddamn switch. Okay, come on. Huh. I don't know why the switch didn't work. Apocalyptic vibes. Okay, maybe we have to go through the portal again to reset the switch? I don't know. I remember this giving me some trouble when I was recording it for the retrospective. This one door gave me more trouble than the rest of the game combined. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, that reset the switch. Yep. I think the screen shook a little bit. Okay, go. Nope, didn't make it. It's gotta be absolutely perfect. You have just enough time to get there and jump. I'm not sure if this was like this in the original game. Air Corps and Navy. Navy would have been too expensive, but the Air Corps might have worked. Okay, we just have to keep jumping through that portal. This is real bullshitty right here. I get that they wanted to have a challenge, but like, this is a bit silly. I actually had to look up a walkthrough to see what I was doing wrong. But this is really the only part of the game that's... Okay, let's immediately just turn around. Come on, go. Nope, not even close. I'm not sure if the screen tilting can be turned off. I haven't even looked. Yeah, I had issues multiple times with this bloody Switch. Nintendo Switch. Okay, let's... Oh, I think I know what I did. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna circle around here that we were already running. Go. just barely made it. And you saw me. I was literally running the second I hit it, and I had to jump. That's the worst part of the game right there, because if you don't know what that switch is supposed to do, you can be wandering around for hours, because you don't know what that was supposed to do. You didn't know that that was going to go up that fast. I don't really mind the screen tilting. I've gotten used to it now. Because I've already done a full playthrough with this. Anyone being kept down at a minimal cost. Ooh, a submarine crew is not a bad idea. That could be done on the cheap. That's the thing. Whenever you come up with ideas for shows, you gotta remember, cheap is good. And you gotta have something that can consistently be done week after week. What's kind of weird, though, is how bad and how cheap Disney shows look. When they have budgets of, like, billions of dollars. I'm going with the, theory, be it a conspiracy or otherwise, that a lot of that budget just goes straight into the pockets of certain unscrupulous individuals. Allegedly. You can try to sue me, Disney, but you're not going to get much. Alright, let's grab some bullets. I don't think we need any health, but we could grab some health if we wanted. Bullets are worth it. 10 episodes on the submarine, I think, could work. What I'd like to see is a science fiction show done like that Alice in Borderland, where they are just so efficient with introducing characters and fleshing them out. I'm telling you, imagine The Mandalorian, but done like that, where each character has like a little miniature character arc. Instead of just nothing. I mean, Mando had no character arc at all. He just like, he started the show ended with him pretty much the same as he was. And all he had was a little house. It's like, what's the point of that whole season? Can't stream tilt. Offensive, then bloom and depth of field. I mean, I just kind of... It doesn't really offend me that much in this game, but I will say screen tilting does bother me in, like, you know, Doom or something like that. And so whenever I get, like, a Doom enhancement mod, I always turn it off in that. For me, when it comes to bloom, I'm like, eh, it doesn't really offend me much. Okay, so we grab some crap. There's a key around here. I kind of feel bad for that guy. I mean, you got people with plasma rifles, and all he has is a bone. He literally just has a leg bone that he's trying to bash my head open with. I mean, at least the guys with the blowguns have something. But that guy just has a bone. It's just a fucking femur. Okay, that is a lot of Perlin right there. Yeah, that's a lot of King Kong Juniors. Although even that kind of depresses me to a certain extent, because one of my nicknames that my grandfather had for me was Son of Kong, because I was quite a bit bigger than he was. He was only 5'7", I'm 5'9". And due to improvements in nutrition between 1940 and today, he was also quite a bit more muscular than he was. Not because he didn't work out, but just being born in 1940, the nutrition standards weren't quite what they were in 1989 when I was born. Not quite the same. That's one thing people don't quite appreciate is people today have access to a lot more food than back then. That's one thing also that you'll hear some talking heads talk about how cheaper the houses were, or, oh, look at how cheap food was back in 1972. No, it wasn't. People got paid less. Like, the idea of being able to order out food with, like, DoorDash and shit, that would have been the fever dream of a madman. People didn't do that back then. People barely went out to eat back in the 70s. Not that I was alive for them, but whatever. Oh my. That's not that kind of blow. She's gone from suck to blow, but you didn't hear it from me. See, like, you know, the meme of return to monkey, gun is useless. Well, I don't know. If someone asked me to take down a Native American warrior that had an automatic shotgun that shot explosive shells, I'd want a plasma rifle and not a bone. I'm just saying. I want like a fucking cannon or something. It's like, how screwed are these poor guys? He's got a shotgun. Okay, he had a knife. You see this buff, roided up, you know, warrior with an automatic shotgun. It's like, yeah, I'd want something more than a sharp piece of metal. Well, yeah, real estate is pretty expensive in just about any country now. Once again, I do have a really good friend that lives in New Zealand, and apparently the main city there, oh, what's that called? It's not Oakland. Oakland's California. It's some city that sounds like Oakland. When I first heard the name, I was like, Oakland? What? Apparently that's the most expensive city to live in like the entire planet. Yeah, almost walked right into that one. That hurts. I'd be like down to like 50 health. Alright, let's go. Yeah, this is probably going to be a real estate bubble bursting at some point. Which is going to be very interesting, and not in a good way either, but that's a problem for another day. That's one of those things, despite being really sad these days because of, well, my grandfather passing, it's like, I also recognize that my life is not very bad. Oh yeah, we're gonna fight we're gonna get to fight. No, don't waste that bow, that arrow. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to like really not waste too much ammo here, because we're right at the Long Hunter now, and he is badass. Gabe Newell lives in New Zealand, huh? Sweet. I've seen pictures, I've seen videos of that place. It does look pretty nice. I prefer the US though. It may not be perfect, but it's home and all the rest. Okay, so we don't have a plasma rifle, and we're not going to get one until we defeat the Long Hunter here. Long Hunter has 2 H1 Hummers. You know what they were going with that. So, this is the hardest boss in the game. He is by far the hardest. Okay, let's go ahead and reload that save. Because I'm not wasting my life on falling down a pit. Wait, what? I was just saying that with the overinflated price of real estate today, that it's probably going to be headed for a major crash within probably this year, which is going to suck for everybody concerned, but hey, whatever. Because there was that 2008 real estate crash, and yeah, that caused a lot of problems. I mean, it didn't cause that many problems for me because I was too poor to really care, but hey, it's kind of like this year. But real estate crashes aside, yeah, this is the hardest boss in the game, because look at what we have to do just to get to him. And the save point's back there. When you run out of lives, you go back. And you don't have particularly powerful weapons yet, either. Okay, so if you... One thing you can do is you can try to jump on all those platforms, but we're not going to do that because we don't really need it. But you can jump down here. And you can grab some explosive shells, which you're really going to need. We're actually doing pretty good. We've got the tech armor, which we really need, because, like I said, this guy's going to hurt bad. I'm not sure that a Great Depression kind of thing would even happen now, just because of technological changes and different food distribution standpoints and things of that nature, and ease of manufacturing. I think there will, well, there's been a lot of economic hardship ever since certain events that may or may not have transpired at some point, but people are suffering nearly as much as they would have had the various technological innovations not happened. It's something we don't really appreciate, but like to manufacture a TV or distribute food, it's a lot more efficient than it once was. And food is a lot less expensive today than it was even back when my mother was a kid. Now, it still means, it doesn't mean that people are just living happy, joyful lives despite the inflation, but it's not as horrible as it might otherwise have been. Okay, let's grab some shoddy shells. Okay, so I remember him being really hard. Alright, let's get out. Okay, how do we want to do this? Do we want to do the tech arrows or do we want to do the explosive shells on these Humvees here? Yeah, let's just play it by ear. I think that's the only line of dialogue in the entire game. Oh, the old H1. I always wanted one of these things. Now, I'm such a Turok nerd. The boss health meter. Wait, I wanna... Damn it. Fuck. The boss health meter here has a very different font from what it had in the original N64 game. Okay, my arrows are literally going through the Hummer now. Okay, let's get out the shotgun. Now, I did this a certain way once. Okay, I am screwed. I totally fucked this up. Yeah, I might just... Ooh, do I want to load the game? Yes, I do. Yeah, we're just gonna load, because I already took enough damage that I might as well just load the game up again. Because I can do that a lot better. The more health and ammo you have, really, fuck my life. So I wouldn't really consider a Hummer a van, though. It's like, when you think of a van, you think of, like, you know, a soccer mom or something. Or, you know, somebody who's actually doing legitimate work. Whereas a Hummer is a thing of beauty. You know, it's something that transcends mere... It transcends the mere minivan status. It becomes a sport utility vehicle. My first car was actually an SUV. It was a 94 S10 Blazer. Nothing worked on it, but man, it lasted 7 years. Soccer moms, yeah, it drives about as bad as they do. Let's grab... My first ever wreck was caused by a soccer mom just plowing into the side of me. Which of course meant that it was my fault, because how could it not be? I'll tell you this, you know, you have an SUV suddenly slam into the driver's side door, that'll wake you up, that's for sure. For such a cheap and small car, I gotta say, the Nissan Versa is remarkably safe. There's a steel bar in that door, and that saved my ass. Well, technically my leg, but whatever. Saving my ass sounds a lot cooler than, yeah, it saved my leg. Yeah, these people who can't drive. Alright, let's try this again with less fucking up. Okay, I think we'll do the bullet weapons first. One thing that Turok 2 really did improve on with this game is you could swap between explosive and non-explosive shells, which was very important. Because if you can hit like the Long Hunter with a bunch of explosive shells, you can just take him out fast. If I had like the rocket launcher, this would be so much easier. Alright, let's grab that box of shells, because we're gonna need those. There's a lot of foreign vehicles that probably could beat the Hummer. There's like a Japanese truck that everybody's enamored with today that has like 75% the truck bed capacity of an F-150. But it's a lot... God damn it! Now, I've watched a number of videos on the actual military Humvee, and evidently it's supposed to be really shitty. Alright, we're just gonna whittle them down with this. He is hurt. And I have not had to waste any of my good weapons. But just launching poor Turok into the stratosphere over here. Now, fuck it, let's just use it. I mean, look at that. Look at how much damage that does. Alright, now I'm kind of... Oh, no, we're not. We're not screwed yet. I think I did this wrong. Okay, here he is. Now, he hurts. He's got that plasma rifle, and for some reason he can punch the air. He can punch the air, and that'll somehow cause, like, little fire to shoot off. There is my shotgun. I mean, he has shredded my armor. I might die once, but his damage will stay, Oh, damn it, I'm out of everything. Fuck. Now, it's very hard to actually dodge any of his attacks, but some ammo will show up, like here. But I've got 2 health, so I'm definitely gonna die. But I got enough lives, yeah, that should be okay. And he's hurt enough. Bastard. Oh, damn it. Shit, 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 shit. All I have to do is land 1 hit on him. Where'd you go, you little bastard? There you are. Enjoy your trust fund. All right. And see, that's by far the hardest boss, because he actually has ranged attacks and moves really fast, whereas the other ones are very big, and so it's very easy to hit him. And that's our little plasma rifle. Or the pulse rifle. The phase plasma pulse rifle in the 40 watts range. Yeah, see, that's why plasma rifles and Hummers hurt, whereas a bone is just, yeah. If you're using a bone, you're boned. But boning aside, I'm General Lotz, and I'm glad everybody was able to attend. I want to thank everyone once again for all the kind words, especially in this difficult time, and I hope everyone enjoyed watching me bash a rich asshole about the head and shoulders with a shotgun. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm General Lotz, and I'm going to wish you good Turok, whatever makes you happy.